Welcome back to It Tastes Like Burning. This Matt.
This is Jesse.
And per the usual, I'll give you the old notes. You can find us and reach out to us at ittasteslikeburningcast at gmail.com. You can find us at Twitter at the handle at ITOBcast, the Reddit of ITOBcast. And if you're feeling real feisty and special and actually want to do something that benefits us, the first one is give us a like. God forbid, the second one is write a comment. And then if you're feeling extra spicy, go ahead and send us an email so that we have a topic for our next subject. And to finish that off, you got Patreon. Who doesn't like stickers?
Yeah, we got stickers. We could probably come up with a cup if we had to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
At this point, a mallet.
Yeah, well, just whatever. Just give us a shout on the Patreon sign up. We'll send you something. And I promise it won't be Matt's stool sample.
No. Maybe urine.
Yeah.
Or I might need a urine sample.
That could be it.
There is that. So, without due regard, we have a blast from the past in the sense of what we have for previous episodes. And what we've brought in is we found two homeless bums that happened to manage to join our organization. And in this particular case, we have Carter. Carter, say hi real quick.
Hello.
And we have Giovanni.
Hello.
So, these poor individuals decided to join our organization, and they're currently in our fire academy. And that's going to be the main topic of discussion today. That and the former People's Republic of California.
Yeah. Because one of them's from there, not me.
Not me.
I've been there.
Well, we'll figure it out from there.
It's
so,
pretty.
Mike, why don't you give me just a little bit of information about you and how long you've been on the department and where are you from?
So I'm from the Fort Worth area. I've been on the department for I think 4 months now. I went to college, got a degree. Kind of didn't exactly love the idea of the office job, so I decided I would kind of take a look and see what it was about, and I'm loving every minute of it.
So, Mike, I have a question for you. What drew you to our specific organization?
So I've grown up around the area for all my life, and I've heard a lot of good things, and I went to school with a few of the guys here on the department, and they're just talked highly about, and it just seemed like something that I would make me a better person, and I wanted to be a part of.
Now, a tricky question. Are we the first department you checked out?
No, actually, when I was looking into it, I thought that all the departments in this area were under one name.
Okay.
So I didn't understand that aspect of it, and I was kind of just bouncing around, and I ended up at a different department, and I wasn't very happy with how things kind of were going. Very fast-paced, not a lot of learning. So I kind of backed away from that, and right around the same time, y'all contacted me, and it was kind of more of a put in your place kind of thing.
So what you're really telling me is that we did a poor job of making it clear to what department's closest to you and what department, because we're the closest to you, should have applied to at the very beginning.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. Now, what is your long-term plans? What's your career goals?
So right now I'm actually doing EMT school, and I would like to be a TCFP firefighter and get a career job somewhere.
Okay. Do you have a particular area that you'd like to end up in?
The Fort Worth Metroplex area.
The Metroplex area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why you picked that area?
Well, kind of just thinking long term. I'm from around here. That's really the only place I know. I've never really ventured out too far, but just further down the road, there's other career opportunities for other people in my life. So
okay. Now,
Well, when you went to college, you lived where there's no trees in the panhandle. So
It is true. You could watch your dog run away for 2 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Yeah, the flatness is quite impressive in North Texas.
Yeah.
And terribleness.
Yeah.
And loneliness. And more. And that's where we're going to drop it there because we don't need any other hits on Amarillo and or Lubbock.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Giovanni,
Yes,
tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Oh, well, since Mike already answered the question that he was from Texas, I'm the bum from California.
So are you a refugee or are you infiltrating the state?
I would say I'm a political refugee.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been known to happen.
Yes.
It's particularly very recently. Mm-hmm. In California, were you from the north, the central, or from the south?
NorCal, Bay Area.
Okay. And when you moved here, did you ever think about joining a volunteer fire department?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I never thought about joining any fire department at all.
Now, here's the really cool thing for everyone to pay attention to on this. How did you find out about the department and what inspired you to join?
Well, I came here. I got voted on the 14th. So
Okay.
I came here and I worked as a paramedic in another county close by, and I wasn't really making the money that I was supposed to or what I thought I would, and I decided that I wanted to join and kind of learn the fire side of things to see if I can actually progress my skills and kind of expand my depth of knowledge in that kind of area.
And how'd you hear about our department?
How did I hear about you? Honestly, I'd ask everybody around, and they say, "Oh, this department has." This department is probably one of the better departments to go learn. If you wanted to learn how to do fire stuff, this is probably one of the better departments to go.
You're still not hitting on what I'm wanting you to say. Was there an advertisement that you saw?
Oh, yeah, the advertisement. Yeah, I went to a movie theater once. I saw the commercial for this specific department, and I said, oh, whatever, And then I went to it again after I started thinking about fire stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot.
So here's the really awesome thing, and Giovanni doesn't know this, but this is the main reason I invited him down here. He's our first hit with our advertising campaign. Yeah. It worked. It actually worked. Now, it didn't generate 500 people, but it worked. And for any department that has a movie theater in their area, I would recommend that you figure out how to get some sort of recruiting video. And I'll give you a little backstory. Our recruiting video's pretty awesome.
It was very captivating.
So we spent some money on that, got lucky, and that particular recruiting video we took to our local movie theater, and oddly enough, there's incentives for movie theaters to do PSAs, public service announcements, and the movie theater took full advantage of it. Now, how long did that run? Man, I'd be lying to you if I said it was 6 months or 8 months. I don't know how long it ran. But the short answer is that by God, it finally pulled someone in. And what did it cost us? Nothing.
It was a PSA announcement, right?
Right. And that's probably one of the, quite honestly, coolest things that we've had, particularly from the chief perspective, board of directors perspective, that for the love of Christ, an actual advertising campaign worked. Now, did it bring in 300 people? Again, no. But the fact of the matter is that it worked. And it's something that I highly encourage other organizations to consider, because at the end of the day, even if it does only generate 1 or 2 people every year, I mean, that's 1 or 2 people that you wouldn't have grabbed otherwise.
Right. In today's age, you better grab every one of them you can, right?
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a damn fool to turn anyone down.
Yeah.
Now,
speaking of turning down, I think that you did talk to another department and they kind of steered you away, right?
No.
Oh no, that was somebody else. But
Yeah.
we've run into that and here of late that there's some neighboring departments that are literally steering guys away, and it boggles my mind. Or how did they say it in the Dumb and Dumber? It boggles my mind.
Yeah, baubles. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's if how can you be a volunteer organization and say, "Oh my God, I need people," and then turn people down? The other part of that is, and this is kind of a controversial thing, without mentioning the department, Jake. Were you aware of that other organization in the long run?
I was aware of that organization, but
And then you still managed to apply with us
yeah.
without making it controversial or political or anything else. Make sure that you're keeping a check on your reputation. And I know that's about as nice as I can say that. But just make sure that people aren't hearing about your organization, but then being referred or referenced or interested in another department that's quite frankly further away. Now, on the flip side of that, our organization, unfortunately, if you're the outside looking in, the grass is greener, it's longer, it's softer, we have more shade, the sheep are happier. You know, they're over there with hula hoops and playing dice, and I mean, they're quite frankly enjoying themselves. And if you're the other organization getting angry and, you know, kind of getting frustrated with the other organization that happens to be a vacuum, you need to take the opportunity to consider that. It's not personal, it's business. There's not much I can do as chief when I have people that say, "Oh yeah, I know about them. I chose to apply here." That's a bad sign. Okay. And quite frankly, that's a whole nother podcast, and there's an ability to adjust to that. And you just have to figure out as a chief or captain or assistant chief that maybe there's just little itty bitty things that you can make a difference on. Go ahead, Giovanni.
If I could say, I did actually look into that department that was, I guess, closer to where I was, but I could not figure out for the life of me how to apply to it. And so I assumed that it was just part of this general area. And so I applied to apparently you guys, and I found out that it wasn't a part of that area. And that's how that happened. I was aware of them. I just didn't know I didn't realize that they were separate, I guess you could say.
Right. Now, let's go ahead and split hairs a little further. Giovanni, what do you actually do for a career?
I'm a paramedic.
Okay. And you're in a neighboring county. And in the 3 seconds that I talk to you, do you have a general interest in possibly going to a career fire department?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Now, from my perspective, I'm immediately going to hear that. I'm sorry. I'm the stepping stone there. I'm the perfect organization for you. I have the contacts. I have the training. I have the references. I have the ability to do your certification and testing. Why on earth? I've done my due diligence in referencing you to the other organization. You chose us. I'm not going to turn that away. I'm going to take full advantage of that because at the end of the day, I know I can get you to your end goal faster. In the meantime, I also hope to squeeze every ounce of call volume I can out of you. And I think at the end of the day, I'm probably one of the few chiefs out there that fully accepts people that may not be on the department for the long run. You may only end up being here a year and a half, 2 years, 5 years. And I'm excited about that because I've met two, and Mike, you also fall in this also. I've met my requirements to the community. I've made the community better by taking young men and at helping advance their career as far as I possibly can while they're providing public service back into the community and the organization, and then ultimately helping you get straightened out and find the easiest path forward for your desired careers. And that's a unique position to take, but I'm willing to dump, quite frankly, tens of thousands of dollars into you to try and squeeze out every ounce of call volume I possibly can, and then rinse and repeat across years and years. So, and it turns into hundreds of individuals. I'm perfectly fine with that, because I think it's one of the unsung kind of, for lack of better words, victory flags that we can place is saying, look what we're doing for our young men and women. Even if you're not a part of the organization in 5 years and you move on to your full firefighter career, it's a victory. Even though, of course, obviously I want you to stay around, but I get it. Time marches on and you may end up having to move. Such is life.
So, and what plays into y'all's, both of you, wanting to progress to that career goal is literally the school you're in right now, right? So, Michael, you got the advantage. You got to do the hazmat portion and get that completed before, and you'll get it done next spring. It'll be finished up for you. But through this school and this program, like, that is your fire training. Like, you're doing it now, whether you're a member for us and you're volunteering with us, or you're going on to that career path down the road. The only thing standing in between you is the EMS training and another test, right? You get all the way to that TCFP through the training that we're providing through the State Firemen Fire Marshal Association. So we're literally saving you tens of thousands of dollars versus going to an academy somewhere and doing that. And I don't know. I mean, I know we say it and we tell y'all there's a path and we profess it, but I don't know if y'all understand what we're really telling you. And
particularly for you, Giovanni, I mean, you already have the paramedic. Right. I mean, all joking aside, you could literally be applying for departments as soon as December 1st. Right. I mean, it's a very possibility for you. So, Mike, for you, the kicker is that you're about to finish your EMT.
Yes, sir.
You finish our little academy here, and what do we have left? 8 weeks, something like that. You're in the same ballpark. I mean, we're literally saying by December 1st, January 1st, you can start applying. I mean, that's literally not that far out. The Metroplex has set I'm going to call it the goalpost a little bit further, where you get the cheating woodchuck advantage with the paramedic. You're going to get kind of first pick and first stab. But I'm telling you, Mike, with your EMT, you're not far behind. I mean, we're talking like a half a step back.
And, the internet's ripe with memes about how low-paid straight EMS employees are, right? Oh, yeah. And it's true. Mm-hmm. And without going into detail and what you actually make, because I don't think that's fair, but literally it's going from a $50,000 a year job to a $100,000 a year job, just adding the fire on there, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind discussing pay. I mean.
Yeah, but I don't think that's fair to everybody involved. But there's a big discrepancy, and you're doing the same job. You're riding the same ambulance. It's kind of weird that one is considered kind of this, anybody does it, but the fact of the matter is we're in a shortage of paramedics. That's what's driving the wages at the fire department so high, is that they're wanting those paramedics. Mm-hmm. And that's what's bumping it up to the point where it's almost ludicrous. Like, starting at $75,000-$80,000 at most departments. Like, in our general area. Now you get out into the smaller world of the smaller departments, and it's not near that, right?
No.
But in the greater DFW area, it's that pay is seriously good pay for working 9 days a month, because that's what you're doing. You're working 9 days, 9 days a month. That's versus the schmuck over here working at the GM plant in Arlington that's working 6 days a week or 5 days a week. So that's at 5 days a week, that's 20 days a month to get to that same pay level.
Maybe, and that's based on seniority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. What's happening in the DFW area with the pay scale is kind of shocking. So Plano, do not quote me on my numbers. Coming in as a firefighter paramedic, I think they start out probation $106,000 a year. Now, if you take full advantage of all their incentive pay and you go in and you do everything that would be, and it's all centered around the box. If you do all the ambulance stuff, probation, $120 a year. That's nuts.
Is that good for Texas?
That's good nationwide.
Oh, okay.
Do paramedics make $120,000 a year in California?
Yeah, some. Yeah.
What are the some?
Well, it depends on what county you're in, really.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know.
And experience level, is that starting out?
Well, I mean, it's all steps, so it's all step pay and stuff like that. They also have unions out there a lot, so they fight for their pay and their benefits and all that stuff.
Yeah, now when you come to Texas, it's technically a free for all.
Yeah.
Even though when you join a department, they may be union. It's Texas. It's the union's different.
Right.
Now, with that said, is every paramedic in Texas theoretically coming out of the gate making 106? Absolutely not. Is that maybe an extreme side of an example? Yes, it is. But the fact of the matter is that how old are you, Giovanni?
27.
How old are you, Mike?
21.
Theoretically, you get your paramedic a year later, you're 22. Both of you could be in that ballpark and making that kind of money. That is very, very possible. On the private EMS side,
Never.
that's not possible. No. Even with the best organizations here in Texas, and there's some good ones, there actually is a handful of like really good private EMS companies here. There's even one kind of local. They're phenomenal, but not 120, not even 106.
Yeah,
you might
not
make
even
80.
100.
Yeah, you might make 80, but not that kind of money.
If I can jump back, the 120 that I was talking about in California, you have to work. Like, you don't do your regular shifts. You work overtime and double time.
Right, and I think that's kind of the... I think the private care EMS services kind of use that as a crutch to justify their lower pay, right? They're so understaffed that they're taking people and forcing them to work, right? Because if you're a 24/48, that's 9. Yep. That's 9 shifts a month. But if they're working 14 shifts a month as part of the way they're scheduling that stuff, it's not really apples to apples, because you're working this exorbitant amount of hours, and straight EMS is a 40-hour work week, whereas fire is a 53-hour work week. So it's a little bit different, because the fire side is set up to allow for that 24-hour shift work versus other work schedules for a 40 hours. So they don't hit overtime till 53, but the pay scale is so much higher that it doesn't matter.
Kind of makes up for it.
It makes up for it. And, you shouldn't have to, I don't care if you're an electrician, a plumber, a ditch digger, a paramedic, a doctor, you shouldn't have to work 120 hours a week to make your living. Like that shouldn't have to be a thing. Like, yeah, if you're young and you're starting out and you really don't have anything better to do but get your wife pregnant constantly, like, yeah, you working 120 hours a week may be the best thing to do because it keeps you off of her and out of the couch, right? So that is a thing. But if you're in you guys are both under your 30s, but you get into your 30s, you start thinking, man, I work a lot. You get in your 40s and you're like, yeah, I can't work this much. Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. I felt like I just drank fire.
No, that wasn't fire.
No.
No, that was yeah.
That's encouragement and determination.
I feel like never mind. It's okay. Let's move on.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. There's a Scotchman dancing a jig right now.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, you guys are in our fire academy. Mike, tell me about today. What was so awesome about today?
Well, today we did a couple of drills. One of them really lets you know, like, the way to put it is really let you learn about yourself.
What particular drill was that?
It was spiraling hose of death.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it's dubbed, and I think the guy that kind of dubbed it that, like, he deserves credit for that one, right?
Yeah,
that one was a good one, and we'll leave it at that. But that guy definitely deserves credit for that one.
Yeah. I don't know, the guy that brought it to us, I don't know if he dubbed it. I don't know if it was his creation.
Well, I will say, if you look it up, you will not find anything. I tried. I did.
Yeah, no. The spiraling hose of death is literally the typhoid Mary of fire training. It is the gift to keep on giving. And
we added to it.
Yeah, we made it worse.
We made it worse.
So, Giovanni,
Yes, sir.
besides the spiraling hose of death, what else did you work on today?
We worked on extrication, blind.
Be a little more specific.
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But same thing. Be more specific. What'd you do?
We walked in there full gear, SCBA, air pack, held the wall, tried to follow everything, tried to feel everything. I was dumb and I picked a Halligan, and it was really hard to hold up with.
Yeah,
one
it's
hand.
a good shoulder workout.
Oh yeah.
It'll really help you find your testicular fortitude.
Yeah, and then we just tried to extricate a victim out of the room. It was very tough, actually. I actually preferred the twisty hose of death, whatever you guys call it.
The spiraling hose of death.
Yeah, over the one the extricate, the search and rescue.
Well, that's because you made poor choices.
Yeah, I did make poor choices. Yeah.
That
You must have made really poor choices.
The Halligan was a poor choice.
That was the poor choice.
Yeah. So, Mike, what else did you learn today?
We learned about RIT.
Okay.
Rapid intervention.
Okay.
So that was basically all the ways that you could. I mean, there's 100 different ways that you could hook up, and whatever situation you may be in, and we kind of went over the majority of those.
Now, what do you mean by hookup? Go ahead and be a little more descriptive.
With your RIT, you have the bottle that you're carrying in with you.
So the RIT pack?
The RIT pack, yes.
Okay.
You have the bottle in there, and there's two separate hoses coming off of it. And
aren't those awesome?
Yeah, especially with the gloves on and no vision. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, just you can hook this one to this connect, and that bypasses your bottle on your firefighter. This one you can equalize different ways, if anything were to malfunction, mask malfunction. There's one of those in there that you could you can use and replace, and just a quick fix to get somebody out of a sticky situation.
Okay. Giovanni, what else did we cover today?
How to get somebody out of a window when you're very crammed in between.
Do you remember the name of the drill?
It starts with a D.
Denver drill.
There you go.
Duck drill. DuckTales. Ooh.
The Dover drill.
Yeah.
So how awesome was that?
Well, I didn't do the Denver drill right because I didn't know what the Denver drill was, so I tried to lift him up over my head. It didn't work out very well.
So I'm a big fan of monkey do and then monkey see. And the kicker with it is our spiraling hose of death ends with the crescendo of the Denver drill. And just for everyone's clarity, in 10 to 12 years of me running this project, it doesn't matter if you're paid or volunteer, I've never had anyone complete it. Not if I do my job. I look at it as it is my sole ability to crush you. And really the end goal of the drill is for you to find your limit. And the question is, and to make it a little more serious, the fact of the matter is that sometimes things are so bad where you can't rescue someone. And I train our individuals to realize that. And I know that sounds terrible and that you send everyone in no matter what, we save our own. But the fact of the matter is that very few people actually train for that. And I think that's a mistake. I would argue nationwide, paid, volunteer, we do it wrong. I truly believe that we do it wrong. Look at the statistics. They're terrible. The vast majority of firefighter saves are the firefighter that extricated themselves and saved themselves. Trying to do a firefighter down scenario and saying that we're going to be able to train everyone to save everyone, I'm sorry. I will die on this hill. That is not possible. It's not possible unless you highlight people to train technique. That is the only way you're going to save them. And overemphasize the rapid part. Because if you don't overemphasize the rapid part, you're going to kill them. I don't care. I will argue with any career chief. I will argue with any career battalion chief. I don't care. If you don't overemphasize the rapid part, you're wrong. And again, I realize I'm just some schmuck volunteer chief. No name America. And I'm telling you, we are teaching RIT wrong. I will swear up and down on that. You have to train rapid, not all this other crap. Period. Not all this other crap. Because the fact of the matter is that the only thing that matters to that down firefighter is getting their tail feathers outside as fast as possible. And if you're not training that, you're wrong. How do I know that? Because stats are on my side. End of story. No department that doesn't emphasize the rapid part, they kill people. That's a sad fact.
Yeah.
Jesse, thoughts?
Thoughts? I think we try to bridge through that with what we tell them, right? It's hard because we're literally their first touch of any of this stuff. Like they don't have a base of knowledge. This is basic training, so to speak, not advanced woodchuck. This is that basic woodchuck kind of stuff, right? And so we talk about a lot of it, and specifically when I was doing the search and rescue training, I touched on some of that. That you're doing this search and rescue training, and you're never going to do this. Like, this is going to happen once in a blue moon, and the likelihood that you're going to rescue a victim from a burning building is just not there, right?
Right.
So what does that mean? Does that mean we don't practice it? No, that means we got to practice it more.
Period.
Because it's not like dragging a hose and operating a nozzle and using the rescue tools and some of this other stuff that we're doing on a daily basis that we get really good at because we do it all the time. This is one of those things that perishable skill is gone before we realize that we never practiced it. And I think that's where we kind of do the justice in RIT too, because it's a perishable skill and we never practice it. And we've got to make the effort to practice that stuff more as a department and as a fire service.
Right.
It's not just us. It's universal.
Nationwide.
Right. And it's one of those things because the implementation of it to go into effect and be used is so rare. It's like, I don't know what's more rare than that. It just doesn't happen.
Well, a particular scenario, and it's a true story that stuck with me, is Rochester, New York. It was a meat packing plant, old brownstone brick building that got converted to a commercial freezer / refrigerator storage unit. Okay. Without going through all the details, a week before they had a fire there, a city inspector was going through the building. It was a brand new facility, from what I understand. And that individual got lost for hours inside that building. Okay? It's a brick building. His cell phone didn't work. And long story short, it took him forever to get out. The proverbial week later, structure fire. First fire crew goes in. They have major problems. They issue a mayday. The RIT crews deployed. Okay. 2 in, 2 out. 2 go in. They have problems. So now you have the initial attack crew plus the initial RIT crew. They have problems. Next 2 go in. Now you're 6 inside. They have problems. The first 2 you stop hearing from. And the battalion chief is the one that had to make the hardest decision on the face of the earth. He stopped the event. Okay? That is, I could not imagine having to make that decision. You talk about the world's hardest decision, but realizing I can only kill 6. That's it. No mas. We can't keep doing this. Okay? And that is such a major problem. And I don't know how I personally react in that situation. It's real easy to armchair quarterback that event. It's terrible. Absolute worst case scenario possible. And the fact of the matter is I don't know what we'd be able to do with that theoretical event. But all I can say is that you try and train the absolute best that you can for that event. I told every single crew that, because I was running our spiraling hose of death to our Denver drill, and I tell every single crew, congratulations, you failed. Okay? And the fact of the matter is that this drill is to failure. In 12 years of me running this project, I've never had anyone successfully run it. I don't want people to successfully run it. I want them to find what their limit is. Because the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, they need to be honest with themselves so that you don't create a cascading event. 2 turns into 4, which turns into 6, which turns into 12, and on and on. And I truly think that we just kind of put the blinders on and challenge into this and say, oh, yeah, look at us. We're just going to do this. And the fact of the matter is we're not prepared for it because, quite frankly, the event's so rare. And one thing that I over exaggerate is the rapid part. You're killing me. Go fast. Quite frankly, physically, you're not going to last that long. Take the whole scenario into consideration. You are assigned to rescue one of your brothers. That is an absolute terrible situation. For you, and particularly for the firefighter that issued the Mayday, the big thing coming out of this is time. You have to go fast. Damn it. Stop thinking that everything's procedural at that point. You do whatever you have to do to get the people there as fast as possible. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. What the hell? You're grabbing a rip pack, 75 pounds worth of tool. You're getting an azimuth house, checking where the sun's laying, check your weather station. What the hell are you doing? Damn it. Get people in there and grab that person. Now, let's come back to reality. That's easy on a single wide, double wide trailer or a single story Texas home. Where does Rick get you in trouble? Well, it's whenever it's not in your powerhouse. Are you doing industrial firefighting? Are you fighting a large commercial fire? These things are completely not necessarily foreign to us, but we very rarely have them. And it completely changes the dynamic. And it puts your ass in a sling if you're not careful. Go ahead.
I was just going to point out, and you know, we take this particular drill as to failure, right?
Right.
But the majority of the stuff that we put you guys through is not to a failure; it's to success, right? And Matt said it that the reason why this is to failure is to impress upon you that it's an impossible task, that you're setting yourself up to go into an impossible task, and you're going to have to muster everything you can muster to make that happen. Whereas the other stuff we're teaching you, we expect you to be able to complete it and accomplish it without any trouble, right? So we train that to completion and success. We train this to a failure, absolute failure. And I see it happen in training programs all the time where everything is trained to failure, and I think that's the wrong answer, right? On 90% of the things that you train on.
I would agree.
And I want to point that out. All right, drum roll.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah?
It'll help you think clearly.
You're going to taste how you smell.
That's a face only a mother could love.
That is horrible.
I feel like if I were to scrape up the char from a wall of a burning building, it tastes exactly the same.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or ash. It tastes like ash.
So, besides the spiraling hose of death, a search and rescue, and the classic Denver drill, what else did you guys cover today?
Well, it kind of like goes back onto the spiraling hose of death, but I learned a lot about myself.
Okay.
So like I'm kind of like I'm not the biggest person ever, but like I'm like broad-shouldered. I'm not small.
Yeah, for 4'7", you're pretty built.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, but without any vision and being in a tight space, I've realized that is not a strong point of mine. That is something I really need to work on, and I think that.
Okay, specifically, what do you need to work on?
I need to work on controlling my emotions when I'm in that scenario. I kind of let myself, like, I felt the need that, like, I should be able to do this right now. Like, I've never done it before, so
right.
That played a big role in it, but I just felt that I should have been able to do it, And that kind of made me mad at myself, and I lost communication skills. And then I was kind of just basically in a dark room digging around by myself. So that kind of let me know.
Now, in your defense, how much did we prepare you / give you a heads up of what you're about to dive off into?
Didn't even let me look into the door. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Giovanni, how did you feel about the spiraling hose of death and the dimmer drill?
Oh, I mean, he covered most of it. I mean, most of it was us trying to realize like what our capacity is as human beings, right? We're not robots. We're not machines. We have a limit at that point, and it kind of made me realize like I don't know everything. I'm not perfect, you know. I'm only a human being, and it was a very humbling experience at the end of the day, especially when I ran through the whole course and I got to that Denver drill, even because we ran out of air, so we had to take off our mask either way, and then we went over to the Denver drill. I couldn't figure out how to move the patient, really. I mean, and I move patients for a living, and I was like really upset at myself that I couldn't figure out how to move this patient in this tiny little space, but I wasn't thinking clearly at that time.
And that's a good question. So outside of your fire training,
Yeah,
is that relevant in your day job? Like
moving people.
what happens if they're in a little tiny water closet and they weigh 450 pounds and and you've got to get them out of there? How does that not play right into it?
It does play into it, but a lot of the times I have maybe 4 or 5 people there that I'm asking.
And it's
for
not
idea.
on fire, right?
Right, it's not on fire. You know, I have 4 or 5 people there. It's in a stable setting. You know, we all come up with ideas and we're able to bring the patient outside. In that, you're already exhausted, you're already weak, you're already kind of used all your muscle strength and everything like that. You're breathing excessively, right? And your brain's not really processing things like...
Yeah, that oxygen deprivation does a lot to your thinking ability, right?
Right.
Well, and overexertion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It coming to the point of exhaustion, and we'll hammer out the kind of the fine details of that later. But that's why I run this drill. The fact of the matter is that we run 2 to 3 structure fires a week. That's what we're averaging right now.
Yeah.
So, realistically, what's the likelihood of us having a theoretical,
Issue. Yeah.
issue, firefighter rescue? It's actually exponentially higher than a lot of departments nationwide because we run so many calls that are fire related. And that's part of the reason that, again, I pound you guys into the ground like a railroad spike, because I need you to understand that what I'm asking you to do will absolutely push you to the extreme limit. And sometimes you can't do it. And I need you to accept that. Now, the one thing that I crescendo with off of this is let's pretend that you got to the firefighter and, you've got a flipper in each arm. Well, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and dig in, find that testicular fortitude, that internal constitution, and let's make the last push. But if you can't find them and you're exhausted, you're done, you are at the point where you're gasping for breath, you're physically done, I need you to make the hardest decision that you'll ever make in your life. I need you to pull out. That's why we do today. Because I'm gonna ask you to make the hardest decision of your life. And I don't need to say it, because anyone that's still listening at this point should understand what I'm truly asking you to realize. I can't save my brother or sister. And the fact of the matter is that that's an adult decision that needs to be made so that you don't, 1, doesn't turn into 2, that doesn't turn into 4, that turns into 8, that turns into 16. It can go that bad that fast. And it sucks. And don't give me that line of crap that, well, our guys are going to go in and save them. Do not feed me that. You need to be operating in reality, period. Okay? And I refer back to Rochester, where battalion chief finally stopped people going in. Could you imagine having to make that decision? The absolute worst decision on the face of the earth, but it was the right one.
So I think we owe it to everybody. We've only said it about 42 times today, the spiraling hose of death. Let's explain what the spiraling hose of death is so that they can, I mean, if you want to practice this at your station, it's really not that hard to set up, right?
No, it's real simple, quite frankly.
Yeah. So I'm going to look to you guys. You did it today. What is the spiraling hose of death? In a way that somebody could set this up at their station.
Well, my point of view is not. I mean, I was not seeing anything. So, but from my perspective, basically it was just a charged hose wound through a building, weaved in and out of all of these, like, you know, bunk beds, chairs, behind these 50-gallon drums, just in the most absurd spots, just to throw you off and to try to make you essentially think how you're going to solve the problem at hand. And then there's at one point where it is literally just wound around itself like 4 or 5 times, and you just are following the hose in a circle and then it'll kind of go off. It's basically just tries to get you in a sticky situation so that you can get yourself out.
Now, the whole time, what are you trying to do?
You're trying to get to the a downed firefighter. You're like hearing the pass device go off, and I mean that was, you know.
So, this is a little bit of self-incrimination here. The pass device was going off the whole time, right?
It was going off.
So, what was the instructions?
Well, the instructions were to find the downed firefighter, but it kind of threw me off whenever I let go of the hose at one point in time. And somebody just started yelling at me, "Don't let go of your lifeline." And then I clung. At that point, I was crawling over things and like,
so,
would not let go of the hose.
With that said, Giovanni,
Yes, sir.
what is the kind of technical life lesson here? What could you do in lieu of, you need to keep someone on the hose, but what else could you do?
You throw me on the spot. I don't know.
I know. Think about it for half a second.
Well, you got a partner with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're 100% right.
Yeah. You can probably leave the hose to go look, as long as your partner stays there, or you could tell your partner to go out there as long as you stay there.
Okay.
On the hose. You can have your partner go look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that right? Is that the right answer?
That is 100% the right answer. So we to kind of spill the beans on this, it's like, God, I don't know, 250 feet of hose that's stretched in a 50-foot space. And when I say it's absolute spaghetti, it's a disaster. The fact of the matter is the damn pass device is going off right next to them the entire time. But because firefighters are conditioned, hose is life, never leave the hose, don't do anything else except for stay on the hose. The problem is what is the situation? It's a downed firefighter. I'm sorry, the situation changed. It's okay to leave the hose, particularly if you're doing 2 in, 2 out. Mm-hmm. You can have one person stay on the hose line and go do a little recce off to the side. Oh, wait, goddamn. Oh.
Well, and we use the tools and extend our reach when we were doing the victim search, mm-hmm. right? Well, why couldn't you do that same techniques?
I did notice that there was a pile of tools sitting right by the door, and nobody grabbed anything.
Right.
So
right.
As long as you don't grab the Halligan, you should be fine.
Yeah. Well, the Halligan's good though because it's got the spike, and you just jab it off into them, and then you just use that as a handle.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're already hurt, so it's fine.
Yeah,
But,
life over limb, right?
right, unless you hit them in the right spot. Try to hit them in a limb.
Yeah, don't aim for the helmet or neck.
But that's it, right? It's all this hose that's just going through this, and the idea is that you're replicating that down firefighter, and we're going to that firefighter, and kind of the more advanced side of that is learning to think outside of the box. And I want you to understand, and as your training captain and as the guy that's developing these programs and doing all this stuff, I want you to understand how, like, this is the way you're going to do it that's going to keep you safe, and this is the way that's going to maintain your ability to do your job. But I want you to learn to think about ways that in situations that you can alter that a little bit to get to a better outcome, because that part of it's going to change scenario to scenario and time to time. That part that you figure out, well, it's this hose runs 40 feet down this hallway, and I don't have to crawl on my hands and knees because I can see and I can walk to where it goes, but then it gets zero visibility and I've got to follow it.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you one thing I want to overemphasize, and I know there's a slide about this. The fact of the matter is we're volunteer. Good or bad or indifferent, we don't have a physical fitness standard. Okay? But I'll tell you right now, I don't care if you're male or female, black or white, gay, straight, tall, short, fat, skinny, weak. None of that matters, because it all comes down to technique. Okay? I have one of the best groups that I've ever had in our academy was a 72-year-old woman with her best friend that was a 68-year-old woman. Those two, I would argue, I don't know how, but were technically perfect in everything they did. Okay? The one saving grace that I gave them is that before a drill started, I'd give them the opportunity to talk to each other. And those two would sit there and figure out what their role and responsibility was before the drill ever started. Okay? And when I say a 72-year-old grandma, and I do mean grandma, destroyed 20-year-old men, she did it day in and day out. Why? Because her and her little partner, they communicated and they had a basic game plan before they even knew what the hell they were doing. Right. And it was staggering to see it. And I'm going to make a weird parallel. I was a flight instructor for a long time, did a lot of flight instruction for men and women. And my biggest complaint against women is that they overanalyze and they overthink. Oddly enough, it complements firefighting because they're aware of their surroundings, they are paying attention to what's going on, and they actually try and game plan what's about to happen. Meanwhile, the guys over there just like, "Come on, go smash," and they just steamroll into it. Well, my particular drill with the spiraling hose of death and Jesse's compliment adding a Denver drill at the end of it destroys them. Mongo smash will get smashed every single time. And you've got to just realize that some of this stuff doesn't require how star-spangled awesome you are. You need to think about what you're doing. And I think that's a major disservice to a lot of firefighter training.
Right.
Nationwide.
Yes.
Is that it's just Mongo smash.
Well,
and that's not the right answer.
It's just step 1, step 2, step 3. If you deviate, you're wrong.
Right.
And, there's guys, what's his name? Kyle Samsing?
Yes.
The pragmatic firefighter guy. So some of the things that he talks about and his program is about thinking. and being able to think through problems and come up with solutions. And maybe those solutions aren't what's in the word for word in the SOG or the SOP or whatever, but that's the reason why it's an SOG, right? It's a guideline. You've got to be able to think, and you've got to be able to come up with solutions, because the problem is not the same. Like if you're in New York City and every time you go to this style of this brownstone, it has this floor plan and they're all the same, and it's this one, the one next door is this other floor plan, and the one next door is the other floor plan, and then it starts over with floor plan 1.
Right.
That's not what we have out here in Texas, and it's not the same. And you can't just dictate word for word that you're always going to go in the front door and you're going to take the stairs to the second floor.
And I want to compound that, because this classic vent, enter, search, God, that pisses me off. Damn it. That might work in the Northeast U.S. where you have nothing but brownstone after brownstone after brownstone. Damn it, come to Texas and realize that our building construction is not conducive to vent, enter, search all the time.
And there's times when VES is applicable in our area. And I would say if you were looking at, I don't know, nursing home. Nursing home would be a good example, where VES would be applicable, because you're literally gonna bounce down the hallway. You're gonna search. You're gonna get the people out that you got to get out, and then you're gonna, the fire becomes secondary at that point, right?
Right.
So it's a little bit different scenario when you get into that big commercial multi-occupancy building, that nursing home. VES might be your best bet on that. And honestly, your best bet may be direct attack right now and worry about the search after the...
Yeah, no, I have to admit, the first thing to do in that scenario is just get a hose line down
to the fire
and get someone on the fire.
Yep.
Has to happen.
It's such a different world. We're not high rises and brownstones.
Right.
In fact, there's no high rises or brownstones.
No.
Like
not in our area.
Like that's a non-existent thing. Like we have the classic heavy masonry downtown with the, shop on the bottom, house on the top, kind of apartment on the top kind of scenario. But that's a whole nother animal, and it's just kind of onesie twosies. It's not the majority of our thing. The majority of our structures are lightweight wood construction, residential, wood truss crap. And you can't treat that the same way, because it's going to fall down on you before you get done.
Right.
Yeah. Or trailer houses. That's even better.
So, Giovanni, I'm going to throw it back at you. So, besides the Denver drill and a little bit of how to properly search a building and the spiraling hose of death, what else did you do today?
Well, I can't think of anything else, really.
Yes. There's something major.
I mean, we rolled up hose at the end like we normally do.
No. God almighty. You're forgetting the whole damn section.
Am I?
Yes.
The RIT stuff. We did the RIT stuff. We did the spiraling hose of death, and then we did the search and rescue stuff.
Yeah.
What else did we... I didn't do the flash chambers.
No. That was for the instructors.
Oh, okay. That was instructor training.
Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
We did the spiraling hose of death.
We did.
We did the Denver drill.
Mm-hmm.
We did how to properly search a room. What was the other drill we did?
We filled up empty bottles.
No.
That's what I was going to say next, too.
Did we not work with the rip bag?
I mean, I think we already covered that. You already talked about the RIT bag, how we got blindfolded. We did drills with the RIT bag. And all
Okay.
We did some
Yeah,
RIT.
but you didn't say that.
Oh,
that. Oh.
sorry. Yeah, we did some RIT.
RIT bag.
Rip back.
RIT
So,
bag.
so
Did some
what'd you
RIT
do
bag.
with the RIT bag?
Put the SCBA mask on with it kind of blacked out, fogged out. Was given a scenario. Your down firefighter has a busted mask. You have your gloves on. You can't see anything. Basically, all you have to do is kind of feel around and kind of solve the problem. You can't see anything. You really can't feel anything, but you have to kind of go off of knowledge of knowing where your equipment is and just kind of slight things that you can feel, like the one end has the round part. You can feel that through a glove, and one end is like a stick. You can feel that kind of stuff.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, there was, I'm going to say, a saying or an acronym that was used. And obviously, I didn't teach that section. Did they say anything about the ball or the tee?
Oh, low ball, high tee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not hear
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. Real important. Did they actually explain that, what the low ball, high tee means?
No, I just thought it'd be like, yo, you low ball somebody, and then I don't know what the high tee stands
Okay.
for.
See, this is why we have that discussion, because we just learned something significant about our next class. Okay. What do you think low ball, high tee means?
Oh, like high pressure, low pressure?
Yes.
Okay.
So would the ball end, low ball end of the RET pack mean for low pressure packs like 4,500?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Now, what do you think the high tee means?
For 55.
Yes. Oh, that's such confidence that came through there.
Right.
So, we
Obviously, that wasn't really discussed, so maybe for next time.
it's all right. No, yeah. That, like I
Learning
said,
experience for everybody, right?
yes, even the instructors.
Yes, and that's why they're there, right? So it's that see one, do one, teach one, and we fill in the gaps, right?
Right. I always laugh, joke, and overemphasize. If you truly think you know something, teach it. Go ahead and take a stab at teaching it. You'll find out real damn quick at how little you know.
And what you'll see, and the guys that help us, they're tremendous, and I appreciate everything they do. But the quality of the instruction tends to not be uniform across the board, right?
Right.
You know, you got a guy like Matt or me that's been teaching for decades, and that's a big part of what we've done.
They're ignoring me.
We're pretty good. Yeah, you know, monkey see, monkey do.
That's a nice painting you have there.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop distracting. Let's come back to the point, Jesse.
So the point is you've got to let those guys go for it, right? Even the instructors, they've got to start somewhere, right? And whatever they missed, you're gonna get. Like, you're gonna get it somewhere else in the next 6 months. It's not gonna be a problem for you. You're gonna pick up on the other pieces and the rest of it, so that at the end of your probation, you're good to go. We're gonna make sure you get that.
Right.
You know, even if they miss the low ball high tee, you know, it's not the end of the world. We'll end up doing that drill again as a department. We're talking about it now. You're going to have questions. It's going to come up later in the rookie school. Like, you're going to get that.
Well, and unfortunately, good, bad, or indifferent, I always make the joke, that our fire academy is like being waterboarded. Unfortunately, we pour a ton of information down your throat. It's good, it's bad. The fact of the matter is would you rather do a 10-week course or 18 weeks?
2 week.
Exactly. Yeah. Hooray, 18 weeks. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the end of the day, we truly have to customize our fire academy to our district.
Right.
Okay. We are a single and double wide trailer and single story Texas ranch home community. Ladders are indelibly important, but we can't sit there and spend 3 weeks on ladders, because the fact of the matter is we don't use ladders. We don't do vertical ventilation, good, bad, or indifferent. We are a horizontal ventilation organization. And you guys don't know that yet because we're not at that point in the class. Okay. But the fact of the matter is that we have to focus on what we actually do. So we'll cover the ladders, attic ladders, little giant, 24-foot extension ladders. We even have a 35-foot extension ladder. We'll climb the aerial, but we're going to do the basics. We don't do vertical ventilation. Never have, never will. Long and interesting discussion as to why. But the fact of the matter is that ladders isn't a big part of our repertoire.
Yeah. Versus where I came from, where if you were having like toe pain, we'd go ahead and ventilate the roof.
Extricate the victim through the roof?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did you come from?
A place of awesomeness.
Yeah.
You are the tool.
Yeah, I am the tool. So,
Jesse, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
No, I think we're good, and I want to thank you guys for bouncing in here and you know, just kind of prodded you to say, come on and let's go do this. But I think it's important to realize that it doesn't take $1 million training facility to do most of this stuff, right?
No.
It doesn't take tons of things and equipment and to do a drill as simple as what we did today. Like anybody could do that in their station, in wherever. Like that's easy enough to accomplish in the bays of the station. Everything we did today. And that was 1 week of 10 weeks. So that's 1/10 of the training that it takes to get you there. So that's a big deal. If your department out there is not actively training and doing training to the level of hands-on stuff on a monthly basis, let's just say once a month. If you're not working on something once a month, you're robbing your membership of knowledge and skills that can save their lives.
Right. Well, but I'll even add, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yes.
You are cruising for bruising.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Mike, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Last departing words?
I think I'm good. I appreciate y'all letting me come hang out, talk.
Even though you have no clue what you're talking about, what do you think of the academy so far?
It's really good. I feel like already I've learned a lot. I mean, I go hang out at the station, but just the extra shove of being out there with a bunch of guys that also have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
It helps a lot because you learn together. So,
Giovanni, do you have any departing comments for us?
No, I think I'm pretty okay. I mean, as far as the academy goes, I think it's phenomenal. I have nothing to compare it to. But,
Right.
But I mean, I'm learning each day that I go over there, and even on my off days, I'll learn through the videos and through training
Well,
on my own.
You do have something to compare it to, right?
What's that?
Compare it to paramedic school. Because I use this comparison all the time.
You're right. It is more physical as far as so what I say is what I think if it is that paramedic schools we have I'm sorry, let me get closer. Paramedic school we have one thing to learn about, right? I mean, you got a lot of things to learn about, but medical side. You guys have a lot a little of a lot of things to learn about.
Right.
You know? And that's a big thing to know. Right, and sometimes you lose that knowledge. Even like you guys were talking about the pass device inside the swirly thing of death, right?
Spiraling hose of death.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The pass device flew right over my head. Don't even remember. I didn't even remember about it until after I was out of it, right? So it's a lot of things that you got to think about that you don't think about on a daily basis, which is phenomenal, right? There you go. You finally got it right at the end.
I got that skeeter right there at the end.
There was a hit.
So,
Jesse, what else do you have for
That's
us?
it. Let's put a bow on it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Stick a fork in me?
Yep.
Thank Christ. So, closing notes. Reach out to us at ittasteslikeburningcast@gmail.com. You can find us at Twitter at itlbcast or theoretically Reddit at itlbcast. And we'd really appreciate a lick right there at Patreon. You can always get stickers. And all joking aside, we really do need the comments, reviews, everything. Everyone that's been supporting us recently, we really do appreciate it. And if you can give a like and or, God forbid, a comment there on whatever podcast player you listen to, we'd really appreciate it. Yep. This is Matt.
This is Mike.
this is Giovanni.
Jesse.
I think we're done.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good day from California.